gentlemen, how you doing today? Welcome to the what is it, like the third episode of See, I Do Be Listening. It's an interview series. It's a quarterly interview series where I find people who I think are dope, and I ask them process questions. Just because what I find is that a lot of people don't spend the time as far as like just trying to figure out, just putting people on like situations, trying to figure out like how to do the process things, right? So. Um, there's a misconception as far as art is concerned where we don't teach people how to do stuff. We just expect them to know it by themselves. Um, and it's a pleasure to have my brother here. His name is Earle, aka DJP Easy. And it's cool because like usually he's the one in the interview chair. And I don't know if he's ever been interviewed. So maybe he has.
For corporate jobs and stuff like that, but yeah.
Don't worry, you got the job anyway. So what I'm saying.
Actually, I did get the job.
Nice. But yeah, like I just thought it was important to kind of like shine a light on one of the people who actually shines lights on people. So, like he's actually he does a really good job as far as like just pointing out talent and like trying to figure and putting them in a position to be seen and to be like to actually have the conversations we're trying to have with him today.
Okay.
So Earle, what up though?
Just grinding. Spent some time. Actually, had 2 meetings about weddings and other, ventures and whatnot. So just constantly moving, man.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna get into that as well. So as usual, my first question is not mine. It's borrowed affectionately from BuzzFeed's Another Round podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do and why?
What do I do and why?
Yes.
Well, I am an event planner, DJ, host. And the reason why I do it because I just love to make people feel good, people feel happy and whatnot. Because after like a long stressful day of like work, classes, or whatever life is throwing at you, it's nice to just at the end of the night just feel good, feel great about yourself.
All right. So what is it about you that like? Would you consider this like a passion as far as like just to like make people feel happy about themselves, make people just set the tone so like everybody has like a great
setting the tone, like because with DJing it just allows people to just get into a certain mood. Let's just say you're coming from an environment that was very hectic and very like not so comfortable to the soul. I could just throw some old school jams for you, then we could lead it into wherever journey we want to go to.
All right. So this is kind of challenging too, because like as you alluded to, you do a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I would say as well, like I think one of the things I think is really dope about you, and I kind of like said it as well in the beginning, is you do a really great job of like shining lights on people, right?
Yeah.
So I just saw an interview that you did with like Tang Sauce where he was saying that you were one of the first people who actually gave him a shot as far as being in the studio and doing the interview with him.
The thing with Tang Sauce,
yeah.
And shout out to Tang Sauce.
Fact.
His presentation was good.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people I meet that are overly talented, very very, good at what they're doing, but their presentation is just out of whack or even disrespectful.
Yeah.
So he's always been a humble guy. So even when he was in the beginner stages of being a performer and DJing, I mean, not DJing, but dancing, breakdancing and whatnot, he always had like a good vibe, good energy. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, you know what, let me just give this guy a chance. Mm-hmm. And now looking at him being, Mr. Maturity, like he's on point. So he's elevated himself as a performer, a rapper, even as a breakdancer. Like literally every Wednesday he's teaching kids how to dance.
Yeah, he is.
So
Building Forge.
Yes, he's the man.
Yeah, and that's just one story as far as like again, I pop into the studio. You do the interview series at CCSU, the mix up.
Yep.
So like WFCS
107.7. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I've been honored enough to like to sit in that room every once in a while to see like the people who constantly roll through like so. And it's local talent. It's people that are coming down from like Springfield. Just people come from everywhere. So I think it's really. I would applaud you as far as like being able to, because it just seems as if it's like a rite of passage at this point to like come through Earle's studio.
Yeah, because a lot of times in different environments, especially like top 40 or paid radio and whatnot,
yeah,
they got to go through hoops of fire my whole thing is, okay, if you have clean radio music, radio ready music, good presentation, able to hold a conversation, because if you're able to hold a conversation over the phone, you could actually do an interview.
Sure.
Because believe it or not, there's some rappers that they can't hold a conversation.
Oh, I believe it.
You know, so
like,
so it's simple requirements, but sometimes with the big companies and whatnot, not knocking them, it's just they got to go by their own guidelines and whatnot.
mm-hmm.
So with college radio / underground radio and also / internet radio, why should I make it that hard? I'm not CBS radio. I'm not Clear Channel, but I want to say I have the same quality as them.
And it's good because again, like, because you don't have these obstacles, you can just make it as easy as possible. So I get what you're saying with that. Mm-hmm. So Spider-Man was bitten by a bug.
Yes.
Superman, he was like born in like a different place. Like he's like technically an immigrant, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And like so, but my question for you is, what's your origin story?
Sports failures.
Okay, go ahead, elaborate.
So, my folks are from the Caribbean.
Uh-huh.
My mom is a Pentecostal evangelist. Mm-hmm. So it's always been a good mixture of Christian music, and then with my older brother Earle, aka Poet's Realm, shout out to him.
Poet's Realm.
He actually put me on to hip hop when I was like 6 and whatnot. Uh-huh. So it's like I always had a good mash of that, but really growing up, like basketball and football was my passion. So, you know, believe it or not, your boy could play basketball and whatnot. Uh-huh. And then when I got to high school, like,
see, I saw the football pictures.
Yeah. Like let me explain something. So with basketball, made a freshman team, made JV. But the thing is like the guys in front of me, they're amazing. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be at a certain level. So unfortunately, I wasn't at that level. But you know, the football coach called, was like, "Hey, we need some bodies and whatnot." Mm-hmm. And you know, I work my. It's more than just needing a body. It's somebody that's going to work hard, look out for your teammates when it comes down to blocking assignments. Because I used to be a center, and then for defense, nose tackle. So following different, instruction. Everything's cool. Yeah, following different instructions and whatnot. So I've always been a team player and whatnot, and always like making sure, because a lot of times when you're on the defensive line or the offensive line, you are not the star.
No.
You're there blocking for the star.
Yeah.
Making sure everybody else is looking pretty and whatnot. So I've kind of been used to making sure everybody, is looking good and whatnot. Because I love doing that, because I have my own fulfillment of just, the whole brotherly love, team aspect, being a team player.
No, I get you, and like you do that really well. So and it's all like so again, I would go back to like the whole you just being a DJ, right? So my focus for the most part would you being a DJ, but also being like a radio host, right?
Yeah.
So
how did that start?
Yeah, like how did that start?
Okay, so you remember Jordan Desiree from Boston?
Yes, I do.
Actually,
he's my frat brother. Actually,
yeah,
go ahead.
Haitian kid that is one of the biggest hip hop heads I know.
Yeah.
So he had a radio show at the same station I'm currently DJing at.
Yeah.
So there's a couple times I'm just watching him do his thing. He's spinning around with the Most Def to Daz Effects to all the hip hop heads that we like the real hip hop and whatnot. So there was one day he basically wasn't able to make it. So the director of the urban department, he was just like, well, we need somebody to fill in this time. So he was just like, do you want to work on some of this music or whatnot? I'm like, sure. So he was there watching me, and I was just going by what I saw him do, but also I have my own little way of mixing and putting together like reggae to like hip hop, and then sometimes go to the R&B, and then kind of like go to the soca. So it's like it sounds like it doesn't mash, but it's all BPMs and it's all how everything flows.
And it's your job to like fade everything together and make it match, right?
Exactly.
So were you mixing before? Like was that just like a hobby?
Nah, honestly, I was just listening to just music. Like I wasn't even mixing like that. I always thought like, okay, what if this and this was put together?
So you already had the ear for it.
Yeah, I had the ear for it. Cool. Already had ideas, but that was my first time putting it to use. In a sense, it was good because it was like a cushion. So like if I messed up on something, hey, it's college radio. But there's other people that was like, okay, he knows what he's doing or
That's
whatnot.
good.
So I was just like, okay, maybe I might do this DJ thing.
All right, so you're a DJ in a world full of like aux chord song selectors.
You say that again?
I said
aux chords.
You are a DJ in a world of like aux chord song selectors.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people are like just on their phone playing with the aux chord, not mixing, blah blah, just like doing whatever they feel. Like, so I want to ask, like, just how do you assert your worth in the industry where folks think they can do what you do? Because I think a lot of people think they can DJ, but they really can't.
Like you have to, like, what helps me out all the time is me loving people and me just always willing to learn something. Like, let's just say there's a new reggaeton song that's popping. I would want to know why are they so popping? Where did it come from? I want to know the whole story.
Okay.
Some people might just be like, okay, that's the joint, that's it. But me, I want to know where is this coming from?
So how do you think being curious actually lends to that?
Being curious, in a sense, is more than just being nosy about what's going on. You're actually caring and doing your research.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And also looking at people's different body reactions, facial reactions. One of the things I like to do before I even start playing, I just want to walk around the room and just feel the energy a little bit. If the bar is already open, go to the bar, ask, the bartender some questions, already start off with like a nice tip at the bar or whatnot, just to get everything rolling the right way.
All right, so I book you for a gig. What are the questions that you would want from me? Just to, like, feel the crowd. Like, just how do you prep yourself for a gig?
I just want to know the demographic of the crowd.
Selection season, I guess.
Exactly. So if it's like more of a Connecticut small town type of vibe, do I need to bring some country music? Do I need to bring like my top 40 set? Or if it's more the urban community, like from a Hartford or a Boston or a Brooklyn, word. I can't even find a word right now.
No,
but pretty much like that type of crowd, I will definitely have my reggae ready, hip hop, maybe a little bit of soca, maybe a little bit of African music. Just have it ready in my head. Just have it ready to go and whatnot.
So like how does your set change from city to city? So again, would an urban set in Hartford look the same as an urban set in Springfield?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Because I call Springfield, no disrespect to Springfield, Massachusetts, but in a sense, is I'm not going to say Hartford light, but it's basically the same thing.
It's like this. It has the same small town vibe. Where it's like it can get popping and so on. It can be fun in their spots, but it's not. I could see the similarity there. I can see the similarity.
And actually, no disrespect to Springfield. Springfield's actually a legendary town.
It is.
And the Basketball Hall of Fame is there.
Yeah, they're doing the induction. This is how we date the video. They're doing the NBA induction tonight, actually.
With Shaq,
Allen Iverson,
Yao Ming, and some other people. Some other people.
Yeah. No, so like, but again, so when the party does start, is there anything that you do to gauge the crowd? Then obviously, like, you're just seeing what people react to. But I just want to know the kind of the science behind making a really nice party. Like, what is your job in curating that space?
Let's just say we're at like a spot downtown Hartford. We'll just use Angry Bull as an example.
Yeah.
So they have a nice bar downstairs. They're always filled up because they got different drink specials. So what I do is I start off with a little bit of top 40 because usually it's just the common person that comes in there that just wants to grab their cheap beer or drink special or whatever, and then they want to rock out. So I start off with that, and then if I notice like, okay, they're just still at the bar, they're not moving a little bit, then I'll just throw on like some current hip hop and mix it up with some old school hip hop. And a lot of times they respond to that good, and they respond to it, bobbing, a little bit more energy and whatnot. And then I rack it up to different other like dance music, like electronica, a little bit of house, nothing too crazy, just to test that out a little bit more. But then when it gets later, I just get into the current hip hop and reggae music.
So, question: I've seen you a lot of times. I've seen you a lot of times, like recently. So I know bombing isn't something that you do now, right? So, is there have there ever been any like bad gigs that you learned from, or what have you learned from them?
Yes, back in 2009, it was a Sweet 16 in Windsor, Connecticut.
Okay, cool. I love that you had that story on deck.
Yes, because that was the pivotal moment that I learned, like, what we think, because we're a little bit older. We're over 25 and whatnot, so our concept of hip-hop is different.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with the younger crowd and whatnot, they're into, you know, the current hip-hop, like, because back in 2009, this is very vital.
What was that, like, Young Jock? Was it the Snap era or no?
It was a combination of Snap era, the beginning of the Drake era, beginning of Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff, I was just like, I got it, but I ain't gonna play because to me it's whack, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the thing is,
buffoonery.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, like the crowd, they wanted reggae, but they also wanted that ratchet music back then.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there was a couple of times, not the birthday girl, but her friends would come up to me saying, "Hey, can you play this? Hey, can you play that?" I'm like, "Yo, just let me work, whatever."
I was gonna ask you about that, but continue.
So the thing is, a lot of the Caribbean, kids, they were dancing, and then a lot of kids that they just loved, to dance. They were there, but there was some of the crew that were like, too cool for school, whatever. They didn't want to like dance until I played that Nicki Minaj song, until I played that Drake song, until I played whatever current Rihanna was out. So it's like there's some people, they don't move unless they hear what they hear on the radio.
It's funny because that like I'm trying to like date it, and that feels like a forever ago, right? So I'm trying to figure like you say Rihanna in like 2009, and I know it wasn't time to replay Rihanna. But like I'm trying to, I'm just trying to place it, which is funny. But it's also, I was gonna ask that too. Like again, as a DJ, what is the etiquette on requests? How does that work?
Honestly, I'm open for requests.
Yeah.
But long as you're not overbearing and in my face.
Is there like a request limit?
Usually, like, through a 4-hour party and whatnot, if I get 3 or 4 requests, that's cool. That's like 1 hour, whatever. But if it's a situation where it's the same chick in my face saying, "Hey, can you play this?" But I'm like, don't you see everybody else rocking out to that?
Yeah.
So it's like, if it makes sense when it comes down to like beats per minute and the style, of course I'll take it into consideration. But if it's like, okay, prime example, if we're at a party and we're listening to some classic Jay-Z or some classic, Mos Def or whatever, everybody rocking out to that, why the hell would I be playing some Soulja Boy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Why?
Shout out to Lady Abstract.
Yeah. Or, okay, more recent. Let's just say there's a crowd of young people jamming out to Designer, jamming out to Lil Uzi Vert, jamming out to, yes, I'm saying all these names.
Go ahead.
Boogie with the Hoodie.
Sorry?
Yes, there's a current artist.
I don't even know Boogie with the Hoodie.
Yes, he's popping.
From where?
I don't even know where he's from.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. His name is, and usually I'll be more engaged with that, but when it comes down to Boogie with a Hoodie, I already know what it is. The dude's name is Boogie, and he has a hoodie.
Wearing a hoodie.
Yes. And his song is popping.
Okay. So is it one song or is it like a...
He has a couple of joints out there. And then another guy named Lil Yachty.
Oh, I've heard of
so I'm painting a picture for you.
Yeah, I got
But I have everybody rocking out to these artists,
to that
and they're jamming, they're going ham, they're going hard, and then somebody requests, "Hey, mister, can you play some Mos Def?" I look at them and be like, you know what? I do want to play some Mighty Mos right now.
But we can't, but you can't like squeeze Umi Says in the middle of like...
No. So it's like, you got to know your crowd. You got to know your audience.
Yeah.
So 2009 was a great example of me learning the audience, and me actually have to respect the like. I always respect people and whatnot, but I used to, in a sense, be like a hip hop snob. Like my music is better than yours, type of thing. But you can't be like that.
Like, I feel like there's space for everything, and you don't have to listen to anything, right?
Yeah.
So you can there's room for it, and you don't have to just because it's there doesn't mean you have to be listening or engaging in it. But again, there's room for everything. So I get the snobbery. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just I was having this conversation. I don't know with whom, maybe a day or so ago. For all that we're talking about old school hip hop.
Yeah.
When was the last time Mobb Deep or any of these people, or even Ghostface, where people even actually cared about what they cared about purchasing their album?
Me personally, I'm a Mobb Deep, I'm a Wu-Tang, Ghostface fan and all that. So if they put out something that's good quality, I will buy the CD.
Okay.
But the thing is, when it comes down to certain events, especially with, let's just say there's kids between the ages of 16 to 21, whatever.
You're too young for that.
I can't play Mobb Deep.
You're the only Mobb Deep.
Unless it's the kids that they're in tune with their inter-hood. Yeah. So they know what's going on. Then there's a occasion where we could slip in some shook ones. We could slip in some Quiet Storm.
If you're 16, the only Mobb Deep you know is G Unit Mobb Deep.
Wow. You're missing out. Your soul is missing out.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're 16, that's all you know.
Yeah.
So again, we do this thing where we get upset with people for not knowing, when we're not playing the tracks for them anyway. But again, let's get back to the business of just the business of being a DJ, or the business of being an interviewer. How do you book gigs? How do you put yourself out there? Well, again, this is a process interview, right? So if you're out here trying to get it popping, and you're trying to trying to be known, can you document that journey as far as getting people to know you?
It's various steps. So, as you know, I'm an outgoing person, and I like to go to different events and whatnot, and just meet different people, see different things. Yeah. So anytime there's a first Friday networking event downtown Hartford or Boston or whatnot, I'm curious to go to these events and just put myself out there and actually meet other people that I can collab with and whatnot. Yeah. And have my business cards ready. Let's just say somebody really is passionate about what they're talking about. So it's good to just listen, not cut them off, listen to everything they're saying, and then, engage in the conversation back and forth and whatnot. And then also, for some DJs, it's good to donate a little bit of time, and whatnot. Don't donate all your time. You know what I'm saying? If it's a Monday and there's an event, they need a DJ from 5 to 7. They don't have a budget too much and whatnot. I would encourage a DJ that's just coming up. You know what? Do that. Start off with that.
So and it's funny you say that, because again, I was having a conversation with Leonard Morales, she was the first interview. Yeah. And it's funny, how do you stop yourself? And this is a term that she coined. How do you stop yourself from being an exposure hoe? Where you're literally just doing stuff for exposure, and you're in
but the thing is, it has to be for a good cause and beneficial. So let's just say somebody's just hey, we're having a cookout, but I need music, but I don't got money to pay you. But do you want to do this? That's a gig that you just turn down, because it's okay, nobody. It's not like you're giving away book bags. It's not like you're helping the community. You're just throwing a party just to throw a party, but you're too cheap to pay a DJ.
Exactly.
Basically, that's all that is. So if it's with certain organizations, and also doing my research, I know who's thriving, and I know, okay, this organization, they're probably not doing that well, so let me throw my services and just kind of amp that up a little bit. Or I could just be okay, they're doing good, but I like the subject that they're talking about, so even if they don't got no money like that for me, and it's something simple or below what I'm asking for, I'm still going to do it, because these kids, they need whatever that's going on that day. They need it.
And it's your call.
Exactly. You're your own boss.
You're your own boss. So let's talk about contracts.
Okay.
All right, so how do you get to a point where you're savvy enough to like? How did you learn about again? Back to the business part. How did you learn? One, how to construct a contract. What was a fair price? How do you learn to set your price and stay with that?
It's different. So for like weddings, I kind of like pay attention to, your average wedding price and whatnot. And what I go by is, okay, do I got to bring equipment, lights, and other things? If it's just me just bringing my equipment and playing, I got a set price for that. If it's me having to bring equipment, but also have it to be like a production and whatnot, then I got a price for that.
Okay.
So it's all dependent on what people want.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so like,
and then also like for small like business parties or big business parties, I have a simple, rate per hour that I need. And
so what were the growing pains of that as far as like just trying to figure just figuring out how that works and oh, you both ringing?
Stop it. Stop.
No, do a lot. No, so like let me hold up. Ramis, what up? I can't answer right now.
See, this is the only interview show you could just be like, hey, I can't talk to you right now.
Yeah.
And he's calling both of us.
Yeah, he is. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's real in business.
Yeah. I'll be listening, but I can't listen to that phone call right now because I'm doing something. So like, so again, I'm just trying to like create the path where like people actually kind of figure out, like just if somebody's coming up right now, they're even like, because like we talked to a lot of people who are like transitioning from doing the 9 to 5 to like actually doing like soul work, doing the creative work that they want to do. And a lot of people don't know these steps.
Yeah.
So who are your mentors? Who do you look up to? Who's been helpful? I know you spoke about Michael Jackson, not that Michael Jackson, but I know you've spoken about Michael Jackson in the past. And he's a really good dude too because I know him as well. But like, who else kind of like paved the way for you to like get where you are?
2 names from Weaver High School when I was going there, and I got my alumni shirt on.
I peeped that.
Ronell Montz, he was actually on one of the first state championship teams for basketball. And London Williams, you know him as DJ London.
Yeah.
He runs the Cloud downtown Hartford and whatnot. But while I was going to like middle school into Weaver High School, they were always, looking out with us. Like, let's just say, like, after classes were done, and this is before the seasons or even after the seasons or whatever, he just, they would just, like, sit down with us, make sure our homework was done. Then we'll play a little bit of video games, but then they'll actually bring us places. Like, bring us to a Boston Celtics game, bring us to, a different community and see what they're up to and whatnot. So, and the thing is, with London, he's always been a part of the CT music scene and whatnot. Jams 9:10 a.m. Then he went to Power 104. No, was it?
It was 104.
Yeah, Power 104.
With Star and Buck Wild.
Yes. So he was one of the DJs for that too.
Yeah.
Shout out to his organization, Wicked Productions and whatnot.
Because I remember when they were just music before they had like one because they were just music for like a year.
Yeah.
And then they took Star and Buck Wild. But yeah, so again, so what do they do? Is there anything that they do right now that you do for others? Like how are you passing that
time? Giving out your time, talking to people, being honest with people. I remember the time when, and actually I'll let you know this, like the year that, because Ronell Montz, he was also my freshman basketball coach.
Okay.
And I remember freshman year I was going to do football, but then I really hurt my ankle badly and whatnot. So I was just like, man, I'm staying away from this, whatever, because it's the conditioning was crazy. So while I was doing the basketball,
you can't really
routine,
condition if you have like a bad ankle.
Exactly, but still, a lot of times with football, you find a way to push through. If you really can't go, you can't go.
Yeah.
But there's people they're pushing through with a bad ankle, and it shows character. At that time, I was just keeping it real, like, yo, if my ankle hurt, whatever. So during the basketball season, I would just bust my behind in practice and whatnot. And there'd be a couple times he was just like, yo, I like what you're doing. You're working hard. but when football season starts, I want you to do that too.
Okay.
Do both.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he used to do both too, so he understand. You know, because a lot of my friends, they did like the whole midget football to pee wee football. I never, at that time, all I did was just what we call street football.
So are you saying it like you think? So was that like just instrumental in building your work ethic? Because I can see.
I think it was building my work ethic. Also, he was a realist too. He was just like, yo, if you don't spurt up to like 6'1", I don't know how the hell you could box people out, grab rebounds and whatnot, but really you need to be a little bit taller.
And 6'1" is short.
6'1" is point guard. You know what I'm saying? So he kept it real, and at that time I was learning more about the weight room and all that. So he was just like, yo, try it out.
Okay.
So
that's good.
And so he never doubted me or doubted me. He was just like, yo, try it out. You never know what can happen. Mm-hmm. And in a sense, with him telling me to try out football, I made a football team for Weaver. I wasn't star letterman or nothing like that, but CCSU gave me a look, which was cool, and that actually led me from leaving the college I was at to go to CCSU, and then meeting all of you wonderful people.
Yeah, we cool. Yeah. So how long have you been doing this? DJing
since early 2009.
Okay.
Early.
Okay.
So it's 2016. Wow, it's been a while now.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm asking you like it's not your life.
Like the thing is, okay, radio. I've been doing radio.
But somebody else is DJing.
Yeah, I was doing radio for a while, but actual professional DJing.
Yeah.
Since 2009.
Okay.
In the same year that I learned a lot of my lessons.
All right. So is there any major lesson? Because I'm not saying key. Is there any major lesson that you've learned in this time frame as far as if you could sum down the progress in maybe one or two notes, just what have you learned in this 7-year process?
When it comes down to the business is depending on who you're dealing with, it could be scary. So that's why it's good to have contracts, because I have contracts for every gig that I do and whatnot.
Yeah.
And also, it could be a beautiful thing, because, prime example, shout out to San Euro Asian Cafe, shout out to the Half Door, and also shout out to Koji's Downtown Hartford, because in a sense, Koji's Downtown Hartford elevated me to play more non-urban music and whatnot.
I remember. So I remember we had a conversation around that a while back too. So again, speak to that, because again, I know you were always good with reggae. I know you were always good with urban.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting too. So, what inspired you to take the gig at Koji's, even though you weren't really a house DJ?
It was to expand myself.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I have family in the UK. I got family in London. I got family that they travel to Amsterdam, Paris, and whatnot. So over in the UK, it's more spread out with house music, jungle,
garage,
trance, all of that. Yeah. So I was thinking to myself okay, I'm playing stuff that I really don't like, but let me discover some stuff that maybe I could like.
Yeah.
So I incorporated that, and then also there was some remixes that I discovered that I was just like, you know what, I could mix this into the flow that they're asking for. And in a sense, that 2-year period of working with them actually got me better. So let's just say I'm in any room, any different crowd, let's just say back in the day I only had a certain set of urban music. Now I got the latest top 40, I got the latest house that a lot of Americans are not even up on, but as soon as they hear that beat, what's that? You know what I'm saying? That type of feeling and whatnot. So I feel like it helped me out. And even though I haven't DJ'd there in a minute, I still have love for the owners and whatnot, because in a sense, they kind of put me on to how the game is. And actually, there's times after, I finish my set and whatnot, they'll just, go over different numbers with me that they didn't even have to do.
I like the idea that no experience is wasted, right? So again, So even you talking about the Koji situation,
Yeah.
and how it's made you a better DJ,
Yes.
and it made you like a more rounded DJ, right?
Yes.
So I like that as well. But I was also going to speak to I'm trying to think, like, you're also a karaoke DJ. Not only you know I had to.
No.
Not only is he a karaoke DJ, but you were just recognized by, was it the Current?
The Hartford Current.
Hartford Current
and Hartford Advocate.
So how long have you been doing that?
I've only been doing karaoke for 14 months.
Okay, so like, where? Like, because you were at Sully's first, right?
No, I started at the same.
Uh-huh.
Then I did a 2-month period with Nick's Tuesday night karaoke.
Okay.
But that kind of died out because a lot of people in our area, they don't like coming out on Tuesday nights unless it's trivia or you're selling people $2 drinks or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, like, so I remember the conversations around you doing the karaoke thing.
Yeah.
And I remember you having those doubts and expressing those doubts as far as like being like, yo, I've done this. Like, I remember that process of you like doubting that to some degree.
Yeah.
And it's funny that
because it's unfamiliar territory at the time.
But it's just funny to see that like the short time frame in which now you're like recognized by Hartford's, well, actually the country's most continuously running
newspaper. That's insane. Yeah.
So like again, like, so kudos to that as well. Like, and what I think keeps you going and keeps you strong and keeps you growing is the fact that you will take on that challenge, right?
Yeah.
So again, the house thing also influences the karaoke thing as far as like, I think you will continue to do well because you keep on trying new things.
Yeah. And I gotta shout out a couple people on this one. I gotta shout out Pete, the GMX Insane.
Pete is dope.
I gotta shout out Joe Burke. I gotta shout out Stephanie Riplin because, in a sense, I didn't have any karaoke songs and whatnot, so I traded like all my MP3. Basically, I traded a hard drive worth of music so I could get a hard drive worth of her karaoke, and it was just an even trade. And in a sense, she's the karaoke lady, but she was just like, you know what? I do need some of this music too, and you know what? He has to start doing it sometime. Like, so she had it like, she was cool enough to not be reluctant not to give it to me.
I remember back in the day when like you wanted to make a request and Earle was like, I don't have that song.
Like, that was 14 months ago.
No,
we came up.
No, but that's the thing.
We came up.
But I have to speak on the growth, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we give ourselves enough time to reflect on the growth.
Yeah.
Right? So I remember that, and I remember seeing the TV coming, and I remember seeing the music video. They just how that set grew up. And it's hard. And I would also say it's like a place like the Saints.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a really great spot, period. Like, obviously I'm a fan, but it's also the thing that makes it great, the general diversity of the crowd, is also the thing that can make it hard to DJ, right? To either DJ or do karaoke in, right? So again, because everybody has different tastes, everybody kind of wants something else. So I think my question is like, how do you balance that?
I at first I looked at it like, okay, damn, I have no more control. Like, it's basically I got to take these requests, and it got to be all boring and stuff. But the thing is, I'm not a boring person, and the way that I usually do my parties is not boring. So why should I make karaoke boring? So I was just like, you know what? Let me just start off playing a couple tracks. You know, we get a certain tab there too. So let's just say people, they ain't ready to sing yet. I'll just be like, hey guys, the first 2 people that can answer this question, you get a shot on me.
Yeah.
You know, so you can go to the bar. So I started giving.
You just bribing people to sing?
No.
It sounds like
it's called liquid courage.
Okay.
Liquid courage.
So what you're doing is you're facilitating the process.
Yeah.
I get you.
Yeah, because the thing is, a lot of times, if you notice, when I'm there, I'm drinking tea because I got to keep my voice. I gotta keep up. So
you reminded me.
I'm drinking ginger and peppermint tea.
Yeah.
No sugar, no nothing in it. Just keeping my voice good and whatnot, because I got to make a lot of announcements.
I remember one of the funniest experiences I had with you DJing is when we went to Koji's.
Oh Lord!
And not only did you have tea, you had an entire pot of tea. Like literally, you ordered a kettle of tea, and I was like, "Yo, I have never seen a DJ right now drinking tea in the middle of a set." Like, I don't like. So it was a funny thing to see.
Because the thing is, when I'm at work, I just like to stay focused. Don't get me wrong. There's sometimes I take, my shot of Hennessy here, little Remy here, whatever, tequila, whatever. But when I'm more effective is like when I'm just drinking some tea, got a clear mind, and just able to just focus on everything and whatnot.
All right,
you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So this might be a short one because I know you have to dip soon, right?
Yeah.
So I know that I get it. So so obviously, thank you for your time. Obviously,
no, man.
So just parting question, and you can make this as lengthy as you want to.
What's up?
Again, we're doing this for people who are trying to come up and trying to figure out exactly what steps to take, what things what else they can do, and we didn't even really talk into the fact that you're actually not only are you in radio, you're syndicated. You're syndicated into where is it, Vermont?
Yeah, pretty much I'm one of the what's it called again? The weekend after party.
Yeah.
So every Friday, I'm being played on Rutland Vermont station Z97.1.
Shout out to Kwame.
Shout out to Kwame Dankler. Right now he's in Seattle doing radio and whatnot. So he actually gave me my big start in top 40 radio, the whole mix show thing on that level, I should say, 2 years ago. So he basically just said, put together 30-minute mixes, send it to me, we'll air it, and then even there was a mass drop, and it was just naming off 6 DJs, and then I was in there. I was like, wow, okay, I'm going somewhere now, I guess, and whatnot. So it's actually cool. So what I do for Z97.1 Rutland, Vermont, their hit station out there, I'll just do remixes to top 40 music. Right now, I got a remix to the new Britney Spears song called Clumsy and whatnot. Okay, cool. So pretty much current stuff I got remixes to. And then,
but it's top 40 stuff.
Yeah, it's top 40. But the thing is, just because it's top 40, I don't have to make it boring. So I just make it in a way where, you can still, tap to it and whatnot. And then I like how, Justin Bieber's, DJ Snakes, Tory Lanez, that wave of people are kind of infusing, Caribbean sounds to the music. So now it's okay, I can send them a mix and I can
throw
feel
some reggae in there.
Yeah, throw a little bit of light reggae set. Alicia Keys got a remix with In Common on a soca beat. It's fun.
Common is garbage.
In Common.
And once everybody, oh sorry, I thought you were talking about the rapper.
No,
In Common.
Her song In Common.
All right, cool.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
It's trash.
Wow.
So that's fine. I'm not here for cool points. I do what I want.
Wow.
What I'm gonna say is so again, this is where I was going before I remembered about the Vermont thing, right? So, what do you want to tell people who are trying to do this? What do you want to tell people to what advice, what steps, what should they be doing? What should they be focusing?
This is gonna sound crazy, but if you're gonna do it, don't do it for the money. Do it for sound cliche, yeah. Don't do it for the money. Do it for the love. But honestly, I love music before I even realized I could DJ. So definitely, you have to love it. You can't just be okay, this is a quick come up. No, this is not church. This is not a come up. And shout out to everybody that's involved in any religious stuff and whatnot. Your belief is your belief. I respect it. But there's some religious powers out there that, it's a come up. But that's a whole different.
Way to step back on that one.
Yeah, there's a whole different thing. So DJing, event planning is not a come up. It's something that you got to care about. Honestly, I'll give you one quick example. After a gig at Toussaint,
we on your time.
I know.
You do what you want to do.
After a gig at Toussaint, I was talking to Jamie and I was talking to Alex, the bartenders there, and I'm like, okay, how do you pour a perfect shot? I'm thinking you just tip it like that. They're like, no, you have to be quick and efficient. So they literally taught me how to just pour a shot real quick. And so it's with the event planning business that I'm, doing and whatnot, I got to learn how to do everything. Not trying to say I'm going to do everything on days of events, but let's just say a bartender doesn't show up or a server doesn't show up and whatnot.
They can like put you in.
Yeah, I better be ready to do my Jeffrey Butler impersonation. So
Nice.
So just versatile. I'm not thinking that I'm better than any situation. Like, we all human beings. We all trying to make it. We all trying to be loved and appreciated. So I just learned how to do everything.
All right. How can people contact you? How can people reach out to you? What should people be looking for, like events and stuff?
Okay. This Saturday.
Right in the camera. Right.
Oh yeah. This Saturday we have a double feature going on. I'm doing a private event at the Dirt Salon. It's going to be on Bartholomew Street off of Park Street in Hartford. It's going to be a ladies' night event. That's going on from 7 to 11. And then right after that, I'm doing my second Saturday's event at Toussaint. That's going to start at 10 o'clock. My homie Jimmy.
So every second Saturday?
Every second Saturday,
right.
Yeah. My homie Jimmy, he's opening up. And then after I'm done with Dirt Salon, I'll be at Toussaint finishing up and whatnot. So that's going to be a good night, high energy. Remember, at Toussaint, the kitchen closes at 11 o'clock. So don't get there at 11 o'clock expecting food. Get there at 10 o'clock. Listen to Jimmy start off the first hour and whatnot. And
food is so great, though.
Yeah. The spinach dip, oh Lord.
All right, so when are you at Half Door?
Half Door.
Give me all your regulars.
Half Door is every first Saturday of the month. We try to turn it out into like a networking event for the first 2 hours. Chill, have a drink, eat, enjoy vibes for from 8 to 10, and then from 10 to close. I'm just playing the best music, so it's a very chill environment, no cover. We're supposed to be doing another venture with Sully's Pub. It's not going to be every Wednesday. It's going to be a rotating event on Wednesdays and whatnot. And then also Pub 32 in Yukon stores. We're working on.
Oh yeah.
We're working on some things with them. So I just got to make sure things legally are good and whatnot. And hopefully, yeah, it's Yukon.
Okay.
Yukon is its own entity, my brother.
Let's not say this because you ain't cut the check. They didn't cut the check yet.
You're right.
So yeah, but again, like, was that it or was there more?
And honestly, hit me up on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/easy entertainment for any updates and whatnot. Instagram, Twitter is going to be DJ_B_easy for that information. And for people to just, you want to call me, talk to me, the business line is 860-959-2876. Business line.
All right, so home address? Nothing?
No home address.
All right, cool. Just checking. Earle.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See, I do be listening. We out. Thank you, Kyle.
Peace. Love.
Happy.
Yes. Happy.